All right. Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing this video. It's not necessarily a review of the book that I'm reading, which is The Spook Who Sat by the Door, the original story. The original story, not the. Well, I don't even think they changed it after the movie came out, but it was the book that inspired the movie. And I'm reading it, and it made me think of something that I like to do in my writing, which is what do you call it? Which is kind of write my fight scenes different, kind of pace my stories different. I remember a little while ago I had talked about why I want there to be more slavery movies, right? It also stems to my favorite book, which is Zorro, A Tale of Alien Avengers by William Sims, right? And so all of that is connected into this particular blog, which I thought was going to just be about fight scenes, but it's part of a bigger picture. And let me explain. All right. When I read stories like good examples is Nat Turner, Parker's version of it. Nate Parker's version of it came out 2 years ago, right? And I look at Nat Turner, and I'm familiar with the story. It ain't secret. He led a slave revolt, right? He was a preacher. He did some prep stuff, which you always know. He led a slave revolt. He got caught, and he lost. Yeah, that's, if any of our slave revolts would have really been successful, and I don't know what we would call success, but if anything would have stopped the kidnapping of us from Africa, we wouldn't have been in the condition that we're in. So we already know that they all lost, or they succeeded to a certain extent. And so we have to scale out what we call success, right? And so, or scale down what we call success. So if we make a slave revolt and we actually get to kill, one plantation overseers, then that may be a success. If we go to 2 plantations, that may be a success, right? My problem with Nate Parker's story of Nat Turner is he did a bunch of plantations. We don't even really know how many he did in the movie because they didn't show all of the plantations that he did. Not to mention, it was an hour movie, and we didn't see the revolution or the the revolt until the last 20 minutes, and maybe I'll say 25 minutes of the movie. Come on, y'all. That is painful. You know what I'm saying? When I see a movie about a slave revolt or a fight, I want the movie to be flippant. 90% fight, 10% movie story, 10% backstory, right? That's how I like it. Another example of that is in this book that I'm reading, right? The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Now, I respect the story of how this guy infiltrated the CIA and how he hustled them to become a gang counselor and how he prepped the gang for the takeover. And all that is beautiful. And I love all that. That's beautiful, right? But the part that I like is in the synopsis and the description. All of that is backstory. The part I like is he led the gangs in a takeover of the United States government, or at least he led a successful revolution in a modern era in cities, multiple cities across America. You understand? That is amazing. So I'm reading it, and it's 246 pages. I'm on page 200 and 5, right? And we haven't had the revolution start. And I'm saying I'm glad the story has the revolution in it, but dang, 40 pages? That's what? If we're going to say 240, that's 1/6 of the book? Come on, y'all. Now, why I say come on, y'all? Why, for me, if you're going to get it, I'm going to make an effort to flip that. Now, I might be very guilty of the same thing, so I don't know. However, I'm not going to make it my goal, right? So I'm going to try to remember to not fall into that. If I make it 50-50, if I make it 60-40, my goal is probably 90-10. I want 90% conflict, 10% backstory, preparation, conversation, whatever, right? Can that be done? Can that be done in a story? Can it make it interesting? The argument for backstory is so strong and pressing. You know what I'm saying? What's the deal? I think it can. And to give you, here's my evidence or my example. You ever heard of a Kung Fu movie? You ever watch a Kung Fu movie? Not only do they have, are they conflict fight driven stories, the fights outweigh the story. Why do I say that? Or how do I see that? When you watch a Kung Fu movie, the fighter in the fight fights the person. This is the basic premise. He fights the person, he thinks he can beat him, or the person comes, he kills his master, right? So the villain comes in, I've been waiting for this, you kicked me out, there's a backstory, I'm ready to avenge. That's all it is. You don't even need a translator. Dude, I'm ready to avenge. You to kick me out the school, whatever you didn't teach me. I found this 13th page with this extra technique on it. I'm about to use it on you. He uses it, kills the master. The students, and the master puts up a good fight. Let's not leave that out. The master, so if you don't understand any of that, the master is familiar with him. They're familiar with each other. They fight, and then all of a sudden, he hits the dude. And the dude is like, all right, I'm taking that. He takes it and then delivers the extra technique. In the fight, he tells the dude, you ain't ready for this. I learned this. The dude takes the blow, and now he's calculated. How the hell? I taught him, and he's going to use something on me. Oh my God, I got to get my skills up. I got to get my weight up. I got to do this and I got to do that, right? So he tries to make his adjustment. He doesn't believe it. He ends up getting his ass killed. The school watches it. They don't just talk about it. They jump in. This dude is too bad. He beats all the students down. He knocks them out. And one of the top students is like, we can't let him get away with that. But dude is so good, he knocks the top students down. They see his technique. They familiar with it. There's like, dude, he's the Ghostface killer. We can't do nothing. So he's gone. Now, blah, 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 a little bit of story. What's the next thing you see? They're training for this Ghostface killer's technique. So they're like, so what if he's good? He learned something. Maybe we can master it better than him. So they go and master it. They go find him. They get a teacher. They're studying. They're practicing with each other. Whatever it is. They come back. They go after the Ghostface. Ghostface still good. He takes down the top student. The top student is like, damn, I can't do it by myself. So he comes back and he's like, I need to teach the second and the third and maybe even the fourth student. And then maybe if we all work together, we could take down the Ghostface killer. So in each one of those fights, like when he goes after the Ghostface killer or who the villain is like, you tried, but now you're still not good enough. Pa, pa, pa. You know what I'm saying? In the fight, you see that movement, right? So at the end fight, the Ghostface killer is like, dude, you going to try again? The villain's going to be like, you going to try again? All right, pa, 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 pa. And then the dude says, I'm not by myself. And another dude jumps in, I can still take the two of you. And then a third person jumps in. I can take all three. Now the villain is overwhelmed. He's trying to take on all three, and now they tagging him, pow. They tagging him, pow. And next thing you know, he goes down, and the story is over. How many fight scenes did you see? All of those fight scenes had movement. Now, take an American story, right? You got, John Wick, a good American fight story. And it's just the first one that comes to my mind. John Wick, he killed his dog, right? John Wick is a straight line. He comes in, he fights you, he either beats you or you knock him down, he gets back up. What does he do? Try harder. He doesn't even have to go train. He doesn't even care. That person used a gun, I can still beat him. I can still do this. I can still do that, right? That's John Wick. That's an American story. The fight has no rhythm. It's just a straight fight. So when I see stuff like that, it makes me think, how we don't really always value our fight scenes. It makes me want to write more script in my fight scenes. How a fight scene can really be the attraction. Why I like my book Zorro, A Tale of Alien Avengers, is the same thing that I wanted in Nat Turner. It's the same thing I wanted in Spook Who Sat by the Door. In Zorro, A Tale of Avengers, aliens come back to Earth. They find out that their ancestors, they're black, we're their ancestors, and we're being oppressed, right? And by a white alien that has also landed here on Earth. It's just that when they landed on Earth, they landed with their technology and they was able to continue to dominate us. Whereas when we landed here on Earth, we were, we didn't bring our technology. So we got dominated. Now that they found stuff out, they're like, yo, the white people that we beat in space are now dominating us. Nah, we're not going to have that. So we're going to even stuff out. That's the premise of the story that's told throughout the story. The opening of it starts off like Independence Day. You talk in 5 minutes, next thing you know, something breaks through the clouds, the aliens is black, and they start shooting the place up. They shooting the club up all the way through the whole book. That's what I want. They came through, and it's a racial conflict. So they shooting, oppressive white people. That's what I wanted from Nat Turner. I know he got killed. I know he had preparation. But tell me the story midway through the fight scene. I want to see his strategy to take the next plantation. I want to see his strategy in fighting a big, stocky white dude, and then he wins. I want to see his victories. Post credits, and Nat Turner eventually lost. Spook Who Sat by the Door. I want them to pick that up, taking a couple of National Guardsmen out, and then they say, well, this is what he did. This is how he got to be, the spook. This is how we got to this revolution. And on a down night, he's talking to the guys, and it's like, dude, I didn't always start as this revolutionary gang leader. Let me tell you how it all began. And then they weave that story throughout the story. But I wanted 90%. Fight. You think in them kung fu movies, they show 50 minutes of them sitting around talking about, we need to go get the guy who killed our master, and this is why, and all the subversion that they got to go through to get the secret technique that the gangster used. It'd be so cheesy. They might walk through the village and the extra book is down there on the street somewhere, and they just got to say hello to the guy who has the book. That's how easy it is to get the book. So they don't even make a big story out of it. And so for me, I just think that's some of the reasons why I like the fight scenes being bigger in the story. You know what I'm saying? I kind of makes me want to write a fight scene more. I just loved Zorro, Taylor Alien Avengers. I love Kung Fu movies. What I liked about Zorro was it felt like reparations every page. Spook was out by the door. I'm waiting 200 pages to get to my first white person get killed scene. That's not fun. And then the same thing with Nat Turner. He's killing white people, yo. Kill him! I want to get to that part, yo. Come on, these are overseers. He ain't killing just random white people. These are people that kidnapped us. You understand what I'm saying? It's like the movie Taken. His daughter got taken. 90% of the movie, he's getting her back. He's killing, Arabs or whoever the heck they are. That's what I want. That's what I want. Flip it like that. You understand? So anyway, I'm out. Talk to you later. Peace.